Welcome back to Unfiltered, Unqualified. This is a very exciting and special presentation that we have for you today. This is the first presentation, our Chileans, that we are going to see from a girl. Not only that, but my favorite girl.
Dude, girls have cooties.
What? And I love this girl's cooties. This is Brooklyn Joylene English, my beloved wife and bestest of friends. What was it literally yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, Brooklyn? Um, you
Yep.
heard that our current recording plans were getting postponed, and you were like, I got this. And you guys, this presentation, she literally put together as soon as we got home from
In
church,
the last
which was like,
15 minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Aggressive.
So it's
holy
not
cow.
perfect, but it is functional.
But we
And
should
thank
all
you
be
to
jealous.
Gemini for Gemini's support.
Great. Well, uh, we are all big users of AI on this channel. But without further ado, we are so excited to have you with us here today, and I'll let you take it away, my dear.
All right. So today we are going to learn a little bit about relational psychology tests, and then we're going to do some relational psychology tests for fun. And so anyway, here we go. So there's a few pictures up here of different relational psychology tests, and we will talk about them in a minute. So first, we're talking about projective tests. So projective tests are open-ended kind of tests. They're kind of difficult to do like good statistical research on because there's not like numbers or consistent answers that you can measure. And so these tend to be like in the form of stories or drawings. They're ambiguous, and the goal is for us to understand unconscious thoughts and feelings. Um, and so these tests are used alongside other like more rigorous tests. They're not used alone, but they can help a psychologist understand more about the emotions and relationships that a person is feeling.
So is that like an ink blot test? Oh yeah, it totally is. Yeah.
Yes. So an ink blot test is one
Nailed
of
it.
them. So yeah, some of the common ones are the ink blot test. So that first image at the top is one of them. Each image that they show you in the test is an ink blot, and some of them have colors, and some are just black. Um, and in this test, they either will give you like a list of things that you might see in the picture, and you decide what you think you see most, or it could be completely open-ended, and from your creativity, you write whatever you see in the picture. So just for fun, I'd love to hear what each person sees in this picture up at the top.
Well, in the middle, I see like a little dude raising his hands up like this. That's what I see. And then on the
Okay.
ends, it's like bears with wings almost.
And he's chanting, sacrifice, sacrifice,
Sacrifice,
sacrifice.
sacrifice.
I love it. I love it.
My
Totally see
first
the guy
thought
in the
was
middle.
my first thought was a bat. I'm not biased at all, with any of my personal joys, but
I
yeah.
love that. Yeah, I also thought bat. I saw the little hands, and I thought, wow, yeah, someone with their hands up. Also, maybe like a moth or a masquerade mask.
Very cool. Yeah, then my first thing I thought was a bat. Definitely see the big wings up there. So this test is, we'll actually do an example of one in a minute. This test is usually used to kind of see like if people are struggling with like any mental health disorders, and just kind of like what is their general outlook on life, um, often impacted by experiences like trauma or um, senses their sense of self-worth, and things like that. So like they're an individual interpretation of one picture might not matter so much as like consistent patterns that a psychologist can see through like multiple pictures. Like if they keep seeing like something dangerous that's out to get them or something that's going to attack them, then that's a good indication that maybe they've been attacked. They're working through trauma. That's where their brain goes first, right? It also could be like somebody in a very healthy mental state might just see something random or creative, and it could mean not much. Like it doesn't really matter what it is that you see so much as the fact that the image isn't really impacting you as much, if that makes sense. Does anyone have any
So,
thoughts or that?
so if I understand, put in other words, they don't really care if you're a little crazy here and a little crazy there. It's when you're a lot of crazy that they start pointing fingers. Is, is that
Yes,
accurate?
From that like consistency.
right. Yeah, because since this is not like an easy test to score per se, we can't say like I don't know, we can't give you a percentage or say, oh, you got this question wrong, so that means X. It's more like we get a general indication of your mental state based on how you interpret these pictures.
Very cool. Nice.
Cool. Okay, and so then the picture underneath it, this is a thematic apperception test. And this test, these are all slightly similar but different. So in this test, you see pictures of people in different situations like this. And you are supposed to just write down the story of what's happening in the picture. So you talk about like what emotions are the people feeling, what are they doing, what are they going to do next, what just happened to them. Um, and so you just kind of describe all of that with each picture. And then same kind of thing, like we get a sense of like what kind of emotions are you experiencing consistently, or are they all just randomly creative because you're in a good mental state and it doesn't matter so much to you. um, the psychologist pays a lot of attention to the way that the person describes the story back to them. So if there's like a lot of emotion, if I were to say like this woman is like uh I don't know, like she's devastated because something's happening in her life. If that didn't impact me personally, then I might just be saying that like, oh, she's devastated because of something I just think up. But if I express it and I feel devastated, like my emotions are heavy because it's really like as I describe hers, they're mine, then the psychologist can get some indication that, oh, like maybe there's more going on in my mind and in my life that they might kind of look into or see what else might be impacting that. Any
Very
thoughts
cool.
about that? No?
So just to make sure I kind of understand it too. So it's very similar to the Rorschach block test that
Mhm.
it's essentially like it doesn't matter as much what the picture is portraying as much as what the person explaining the picture is projecting their emotions to me and finding the
Yes,
consistency across those. Okay.
yes. Yeah, the pictures are a tool that we use to gain insight into the mental, emotional, or relational state of the person that we're testing.
So, for instance, if we were to not use a picture, but let's just say like short videos or like movies, if I were to like consistently identify people as, oh, they're sad, oh, they're sad, oh, they're sad, then that could lead to a diagnosis that I potentially am having a more sad outlook.
Yes. Yeah, and
Okay.
if that's the case, then we might want to look into why that is. Do you suffer from depression? So what factors of your life could be changed to help that? Or is it like has this been a long-term thing for you? Is it a more um temporary, like situational life thing for you right now? Um, things like that. And so they can start to to get an indication too of like, oh, like what kind of other tests might we do to check for specific mental disorders that you may have.
Interesting. So if I were to like apply that in like, actually, I'm going to think on that one a little bit more, and then I'll come back to that. But thanks for thanks.
Okay, awesome.
Who
Is that
who played
Joseph?
that?
It just felt appropriate with all the sad talk, you know.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
That you were whining Nephi for not knowing what
Yeah,
he
I was like,
wanted to say.
sorry.
Yeah, womp
Sorry,
womp womp Nephi.
I guess I didn't fully think that context through.
Okay, and then moving on to the next one. I'm sure you can imagine how this one might relate to the first two. A sentence completion test. In this example, a psychologist would give the beginning of a sentence, and then the person has to finish the sentence. And depending on the way that they finish the sentence or the way that they expect the sentence to go, since they're usually ambiguous sentences, um, gives them an indication of what do they expect to happen, where's their brain jumping to, what kind of outlook and perspective do they have. All right. Oh, did we miss one? Okay. So just to go over a little more, the way the interpretation work is that psychologists look for recurring themes, patterns, and stories. Like a one-time thing is not so much a big deal as consistency. They look for the intensity of the emotions the person expresses and whether it seems personal to them and something they feel deeply. Um, what character in an image does the person identify to? Maybe do they see themselves as the victim or a perpetrator? And do they seem to feel guilt? Do they feel lost? Do they feel joyful? Do they feel afraid? And what might that mean about themselves? And they can look for patterns in the way that they structure the stories. So yeah, just like indications of the mindset, the perspective that they have, and the way that they organize events, the way that they interpret them.
That's really
And so,
interesting about the character identification one, who you relate to. I mean, I don't
yeah,
know how many times I've like read a book or like seen a movie and I'm like that guy, you know, because I want to be like the cool heroic dude, you know.
yeah, right.
That's
And
interesting.
most of the time, like stories are written for heroes and stories are written for average people. So average people are meant to relate to heroes and want to be heroes, but maybe somebody who has a darker mindset or a darker past might relate more to a villain because they see themselves as a villain, whether or not somebody else would think they are, and
Oh,
that
that's
affects
interesting.
their life, the way that they live their life.
I I mean, have you guys noticed in the past like decade how they're trying to make villains like just misunderstood people?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that
Tell you
comes
what,
from like more people being like, you know, kind of more down and depressed than in previous generations, and then they relate to someone who's just misunderstood,
villain.
who's not really bad. They're just, you know, not in the right mind space.
That is
That's
Oh, that's
fascinating,
interesting.
Tanner. Wow.
well, and it also comes with um, like the increased knowledge and awareness of mental health and the way that we try to like reframe instead of saying like, oh, they're different, so there's something wrong with them. We say, oh, look, they're different, but this is why they're different, and it's okay to be different. And sometimes people struggle, like those kinds of things. It isn't
Hmm.
not as clear cut, but life isn't as clear cut either.
Right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I never thought about it like that before.
That's a cool thought. I like that, Tanner. Any other thoughts about that?
So
Okay.
far, I'm loving this, my dear. I'm amazed what you've put together in 50 minutes. So keep going.
Me too. Good. Okay. All right. Um, and so yes, we have already talked about all of these, but just to again go over because I was thinking, like how do you tell the difference between someone just being really creative in their answers and someone um, who has personal relevance to what they're talking about? So it is in the patterns and the consistency in the emotional intensity, and then in the clinical context. So like obviously this is not the only test the psychologist will do. This is just like giving them an indication of what else they can go to, and then they do actual statistically like proven tests to diagnose people.
That'd be hilarious if someone just went in and took the ink blot test. Like, yeah, I think that looks like Batman. It's like, oh, you're depressed. Okay, here's some
Yeah.
meds.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is these tests that we're about to do, they're on the internet and they're fun and people like to do them. And I think it can be easy because people are intrigued by them and it can be easy to take it and then like get some weird results and be like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? And and so because of that, the internet will say like, oh, these tests aren't reliable, like don't worry about it. And that's kind of accurate, but kind of inaccurate because there is a reliability to these tests. It's just not like diagnosable, right? So it's more like the average person is not like skilled or knowledgeable enough to be able to tell what we can
AKA,
discern from these tests, right? They can be
AKA,
helpful tools,
AKA all of
but
us. Just want to
yeah,
just want to
yeah,
clarify that
exactly.
we are indeed unfiltered and unqualified right now.
Unqualified. Yes. Yes. So, um, like this isn't something that we would do for fun and then go, oh, there's something wrong with me, or I don't know, like, oh, I have this mental disorder. But they can be fun and they can be helpful in a clinical setting, but only paired with other tests. Um, yeah. So, but they're still really cool and they're still really fun for us to do. Okay, and then there's the conclusion before we take the test. So they offer us an insight into our unconscious mind, um, feelings and interpretations of the world that are there, maybe aren't at the forefront of our mind, or at least we don't think they are, but they do impact the way that we respond and interact with every day. Um, and they do need to be carefully analyzed and not alone on their own. All right. Okay, so um all right, so we're going to I don't have any more presentations, so I'm going to remove the casting. Okay, so the first test, some of these tests give you an indication to like your desires or your relationships or the way that you perceive yourself interacting with the world and things like that. Okay, and these are going to be like imagery tests. So I'm going to describe a situation and I want you to write down what you see, some of the details about your what you envision. And then after we all finish, then we're going to talk about the details that you wrote down for yourself and what the interpretation is supposed to be and maybe what that might mean for you or might not. Um, okay.
All right,
So,
I need to grab a notepad real quick.
yes, grab a
I'll be right
notepad,
back.
grab whatever you need.
I'm so excited. This is going to be great, my dear.
Yay, I love these. They're so fun.
Yeah, holy cow.
I'm glad that I got the opportunity to present today. Having only 2 days to stress over it, I think, is sometimes preferred to having like a reasonable amount of time to stress over it. So that worked out well.
I get that. It's nice sometimes when
Uh,
it's like forced to be quick, huh?
Yeah, yeah. So the first test that we are going to do is called the Oasis.
Okay, sorry about that.
You are good. I was just saying that the first test will be called the Oasis test. And if you all are ready, then we can begin.
Okay.
So you are walking down the road and you see a box. You walk up to the box and look inside of it. What is inside the box? Write it down.
sorry, we say it one more time.
Yes, you are walking down the road and you see a box. You walk up to the box and look inside of it. What does the box contain? You can write the item, you could write a couple details about it if you'd like, whatever you feel up to. Okay. And then I guess maybe just raise your hand on screen if you are done. Awesome. Okay. All right. Now picture yourself in the position of being able to retire right now. Where would you spend the rest of your life? Okay, I think we're waiting on Joseph.
Oh, I'm good. Sorry.
You're good. Okay. All right. You have been wandering around a desert all day, completely lost. In the distance, you see a village. You also see a deserted oasis full of water, plants, and food. Which do you go to?
You said a deserted village?
Um, it's not a deserted. You've been wandering around a desert all day long, completely lost. In the distance, you see a village. You also see a deserted oasis full of water, plants, and food. Which do you go to? All right. Joseph, you're good? You're all good? Okay. All right. What would you do if you suddenly lost everything you have?
Does that include like family and stuff?
Yes,
Don't
everything.
spoil it.
Oh,
That's
sorry.
up to you to interpret.
Sorry, I'm
It is
terrible.
up to you
I
to.
love more details.
Sounds like for you it includes family, Tanner.
hmm My first thought was kind of dark.
I
Make
bet
sure
it
you
was
write it
my
down.
thought. I'm loving how much fun you're having with the emojis, Nephi.
Yeah.
Like you're doing a different one every time. It's fun.
Oh, and
Gotta
other
keep it
pictures.
spicy.
Okay, tomorrow is Sunday. We live in a weird alternate universe, apparently. What do you plan to do? Okay. Tanner, you look like you're still writing.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Good, good.
That was a funny one.
All right. If you found yourself in a tight spot, where would you go for help? Who would you ask? Ooh, awesome. Okay. If you could pick one age to be for the rest of your life, what would it be? Okay. All right. If you were told you had 24 hours to live, how would you spend that time? Okay, I was looking down. Is everyone good?
Mm-hmm.
Good. All right. If your home was on fire and you could save only one thing, what would you save?
Or okay, yeah. Sorry, got to interpret it myself.
Yep.
Man, I hadn't thought about this one before. This one's an interesting question,
Yeah, I
Mm.
thought I had an answer, but now I'm thinking
but I did
more.
too. But I don't know now.
Hmm.
Okay. When you finish, we are done with this test and we can begin to discuss interpretations or potential interpretations as you qualify it. I'll just wait for emojis.
You go
Okay,
ahead and
good.
get started. I haven't picked my last one yet, but holy cow, Nephi,
Yeah.
you're hardcore, man. That's great.
Whoa. Yeah.
I
Oh,
was
so fun.
partying.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So back to number one. What you found in the box is representative of the kind of luck you think you would have in an unexpected circumstance. Was the box empty? If the box is empty, you might not feel very lucky. If it was full of something good, you might feel luckier.
I put $1
Puppies.
It,
billion that said finders keepers, so I
$1
think I'm
million?
pretty lucky. A
You are
billion.
very
You're
hopeful
lucky,
about the
Tanner.
future. That's so
Oh.
cool. Um,
Wow.
Joseph and Nephi, what did you find in your box?
Well, mine definitely was initially empty, but I was like, wait, but I have to find something. So, like, something sweet, like candy. It's like, nah, a puppy.
Dude.
So,
So you make
yeah,
your
I
own
think
luck then, dude.
I make my own luck.
Because
That's
there
what I
Nephi,
wasn't
you
do.
said,
any,
Yeah.
and then you did
wait,
it
wait, wait,
yourself.
wait. Hold the phone. Nephi, you said puppy?
At the end, yeah, as my secondary thought was a puppy. Yeah. Did you say
I
puppy
also,
too?
I also did puppies.
Oh,
Ah,
Woo!
okay.
That's so fun. I love how you have the
woo.
So,
hands prepared.
Nephi, yours is interesting to me because it seems to indicate that, like, maybe at first you would expect to not be very lucky, but then you decided to make the best of your situation and you found something really great.
I like that.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. Mine was a book, which I felt like was kind of ambiguous. Like,
Ooh.
um,
A book of
I
life
don't
or
know
the book of
what book
death?
You value
it is.
knowledge.
Book of
Ah,
Death.
That is good.
yeah.
Book
A
of
book
How
of
to
death.
Cause Death.
Oh my, that was not what I was thinking.
You could probably become the richest
Romance.
if you knew when everyone was gonna die and how and where and why.
There's a weird K-drama written on that premise. Like,
Hmm.
whenever he writes a name in a book, they die the next day of a heart attack.
Isn't
I
that
don't
Death
think it's a
Note?
I don't think it's a K drama, but yeah, Death
It's
Note.
not a
Brooklyn Nine.
K-drama?
It, yeah, we started it. We didn't
Oh
finish
wait, it was
it,
an
but
anime?
I've seen
yeah.
memes
Was it
about
an
that where they're like they remove all the internal dialogue and it's just 5 minutes of characters staring at each other. It's great.
yeah.
That's funny. Fun. Okay, next
Funny.
one. So the second one was the place that you were going to retire.
I said
Oh, it says,
Hawaii.
me too.
Same.
Recency bias. Recency bias.
I guess that's
I
Me
mean, we
fair.
also haven't really gone to many places besides Hawaii. I think New Zealand should
Yeah.
definitely be up there, but
Mhm.
I
We
I
should
just need to
go.
go.
I don't know if mine was a cop out. If I retired right now, I said I would travel the world with my family.
Oh, see, I thought about
Oh.
that too, Tanner. But then I was like, but if I have to spend the rest of my life on one spot,
It didn't say that. It just said where would you go?
Okay,
Where would your
well,
home base
these
be?
perspectives can also be grounded in the interpretation. So
Yep.
I like it. I like it.
it says, if the place you chose to retire is where you are already, you're probably pretty comfortable with life. If you chose a far off destination, you're likely a dreamer or romantic. If you can't decide, you likely have few loyalties and attachments.
So I think
So
what it
we're
sounds
all
like.
young college students, basically.
We're romantics.
Romantic, it comes with the age, I think.
Help me!
Is this
Help!
is that an
Sorry.
effect?
Yeah, I didn't realize that one was so
Wow.
intense. I could have done this one.
Man, I'm in Safari. I keep getting a notification saying that sound doesn't play on Safari. So I just don't get anything.
Why are you on?
That's fun. We should have more sounds to that
We're having
soundboard.
too
That's
much
fun.
fun. Yeah, seriously.
Okay, number 3. If you went, this is you're stranded in a desert. Do you go to the oasis or do you go to the village of people? If you
Oasis.
went to the oasis, you likely prefer play over work. If you went to the village, you generally assume responsibility over yourself and others in your care.
Really?
Hmm.
I
That
mean,
is
I was
so
just
fascinating.
thinking, I don't want to talk to a bunch of strangers in a random desert. I'm gonna go get some food and water.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I definitely need food, water. And later, I was thinking, well, but I've been wondering all day. I think I need some human interaction. So, like, I want to get like not famished. I don't want to be like not hungry anymore, and then
Ah,
go see people
crazy.
probably
That's so
priority wise.
fascinating, the conclusions that they draw from that question. My vote was village, and my thought was that it would give me everything the Oasis would give me plus more was my I mean I assumed someone would give me food and water. And then hopefully I was thinking like cleaner water. But that's so fascinating. My goodness.
That's good.
I had about the same thought as you, Joseph. I chose the village and I thought they would have everything the Oasis would have, but there would be people and a place to sleep and like a more long-term solution. So I wouldn't
But
want to
full
stay in.
disclosure, Tanner, the attraction of avoiding people entirely was definitely on the back of my mind.
I love that. I was
I
also
did.
thinking if we're in a desert and there's a random village, that probably means we're in the Middle East somewhere, and they might not like Americans as much.
That is a very funny practical answer. Love
Depending on how long we invaded their country for, is that what you're saying?
Right? Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be careful over there, man.
Oh,
it. Yes. Okay, number 4.
It's a cry.
What was this one? What would you do if you
same.
suddenly lost
One
everything?
word.
Cry.
Try. But then Tanner, let me see what your thought was. My initial first thought is I was like, wow, I would probably be struggling with suicidal thoughts. And
That's what I
that
was gonna say. I would probably, if I had lost my family and like my house and everything, I'd be like, I probably just want to go die, man. Like that doesn't sound great. But then I wouldn't have a
Yeah.
gun or anything, so it wouldn't be able to happen.
Yeah.
And sorry, Brooklyn, we just eternally like threw this recording deep down the algorithm abyss because we said those words. But it's
Oh,
it's
They'll
not
just
like
well,
demonetize this video. It's fine.
our
that's
bajillion
okay. We
fans are
can,
gonna miss it anyways. But
yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Mine, for this one was cry, then pray, then make a plan.
wow,
Wow, way to be
you
productive.
are you are
Better than
speaking
we are.
hope.
I assumed it
That's
would
so
take
good.
a few weeks before I get to the plan part, so you know.
Yeah, see, I also had steps. My first step was cry, and then I said be void of emotion, and then be depressed, and that was the end.
Dang.
You sound like you're speaking
So,
from personal experience, Nephi.
Just a laugh,
uh,
nothing else. Great.
yeah. Wow. Yeah,
Oh,
but way to be a
oh,
go villager, Brooklyn. That was a very villager person answer.
ah,
Someone who would go to the village.
thank you.
yeah.
So the number 4 interpretation was, if you look to make a fresh start after losing everything, you're likely the kind of person who takes responsibility for your actions and doesn't simply react intensely to life circumstances. Harsh.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah, we lost
Well,
everything.
I'm glad I married you, love. You'll hold it together for us.
For me, because he'll be gone. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
well, in real life, yes. Okay. All right, number 5. So this is tomorrow is Sunday, and what are you going to do?
I
I mean,
said
pretty
go to
much what I
church.
did today.
Oh,
Yeah, go to church.
yeah, go to church, make some good food, and get caught up on sleep for the week. Funny
hmm
story, this has recently become a beef between Brooklyn and I. It has just be it's kind of come to my attention that I just like habitually like love Sunday naps, and Brooklyn is the type of person who would go to the village and is like, we don't need to sleep a day away. And I'm like, but I want to sleep. So
That's what
Yeah,
church is for,
funny.
Joe. Sleep in church.
I was almost there,
he
man.
did.
I
Poor
know I
guy,
had
only
a
got 1 hour of sleep.
yeah, I only got 1 hour sleep, so I was falling asleep at church. But what was my thought? I just thought it was funny. Once I wrote my answer, I read how I said that I'd get caught up on sleep for the week, and I was just like, haha. Yeah,
Right after you
Yeah.
guys talked about that. That's funny. Yeah, I said relax, take a break, not work, not think about school, and just take time to reorient my life.
that
Love
was
it.
poetic, Nephi.
hmm
Yeah, not having work or
So,
school is very poetic. That is true.
Tanner, did you share yours? You said like normal stuff, right?
What was that?
A bum.
Sorry, that was that. I don't even. That was just. I was just playing with the soundboard, and I saw that one, and I was like, "Oh, what's that one?" Okay, this is the last one I haven't tried. I just want to try it.
So
That was
better.
probably my least favorite, actually, of them all. But
Okay.
Yeah.
What a way to end it.
okay.
I still didn't
Okay,
hear any of them.
so it says what you plan to do on Sunday reflects your financial habit. Sundays are your day that you're free to do what you want, which I'll say might be a little different within their church culture context. But it says if you stay home and relax, you likely don't spend much money in general. If you went out and did some physical activity, then you're likely a saver. Um, those sound like the same thing.
Yeah, those are
Okay.
similar.
If you simply walked around, who does that? You're likely very thrifty. That's also the same thing. If you went
Yeah.
out and bought an awesome TV, then you're not.
And you're
Okay.
not.
Well, dang it. That was my main Sunday activity is going to Costco and buying a nice new
Buying
TV.
a TV every week.
Every
Yeah,
week.
shocker
Every
there.
week.
That's kind of a funny one. Okay. All right. Number 6 is if you found yourself in a tight spot, where would you turn for help? Who would you ask?
My
What were
first
you?
thought was just my parents and or Kyla's parents because I trust them, love them both, and they'd be there to help me out.
Love it.
Nice.
My first answer is most beautiful, hot, sexy, gorgeous uh, woman in the whole wide world,
Hey, you can't
also
talk to
known
my
as
wife that way.
Brooklyn.
You should have an echo.
Oh, I should. Oh my goodness, yes. Um, and then after that, parents. Yeah.
By the way, I was assuming that Kyla and I were both in a pinch. Just FYI.
Nope, Tanner, it's
Yeah,
on
we don't
record.
doubt your
You would
Hey,
loyalty,
not
we're
turn to
one
Kyla.
Kyla.
flesh, man. We're one flesh.
Yeah, I said I would talk to God. I would cope with music. I would maybe talk with close family or close friends, potentially.
Nice. Love it. I said Joseph and my mom.
Nice,
Uh,
solid.
Yes. The answer is if you're the type who sought to fix things yourself, you're likely a strong character leading to a self assured life. If you turned to friends or family, you're likely a bit insecure. Interesting. If you sought legal advice, you're probably a lawyer. No,
Well, I definitely did do that last one.
That's funny.
that's an interesting one that it says if you turn to other people, you're insecure.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of I don't know. I personally feel like for me, like my first responses were not to turn to other people, and I feel like that could be a great downfall in a tight spot. I think there's great power having a social net. So I don't know. Not the biggest fan of that answer, but I see
I
where
feel
they're
like
coming
the
from too.
question was trying to ask you to do something too, and like go to someone specifically instead of doing it yourself. But that's just me.
That's a good point, Tanner, is to say who would you turn to. I guess it's
I guess you
possible to
could think of it like
answer.
you'd
Like
turn to
what's in the
yourself, but
box, or yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Brooklyn, I want you to know that from henceforth and forever, you will forever be the Masagalito, the most amazing, sexy, and gorgeous
Oh,
lady in all the land.
love
Sorry,
it.
Alito.
that just rolls off the tongue.
That does. Hey, honey, want to be my Misagalito?
Oh, DeFi, you'd get a wife so quick if you started using that in your vocabulary.
That's it.
I
That's
guess it's
it. That's what I've been
sorry.
missing.
That was a slight mispronunciation. You don't want to be throwing around any insults. It's Masagliato. Yeah,
Masaliato.
Ah,
Masagliato.
Masagliato.
get us an
Ven
explanation.
aquí, que
What
Masagliato.
seas
are
mi
the root
Masaliato.
origins of the
Wow.
word?
Attractive and hot. Hmm.
Okay, let's get back on these, and
Sorry.
we're probably
I
running
think it
out
was
of time.
just an
Like I thought
acronym,
it.
right?
I don't know if you guys want to do another one, or if you need to go. It could be fun to do one, but we probably need to go faster.
I'm good. I mean, I've got all Sunday.
Okay.
Sweet. Yeah, if you guys need to go too, that's totally great, Brooklyn. I've
Mhm.
loved it so far, but I'm good to
I'm
keep going.
fine. I just assumed you guys would want to be done at once, so.
No, like
Thanks. We do usually
I'm
try
here
to
for the
keep it around an
podcast.
hour, but this
Yeah.
is great. Yeah.
Okay.
We've gone way over
Oh.
before.
Okay.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay. Good to know. Oh, wow. Thank you, Les.
That's how Joe's feeling right now. He wants out.
Okay. All right. Number 7. The question was, if you could pick one age to be for the rest of your life, what would it be? It
23.
says, okay, 23.
I thought about 23. I ended up picking 25.
I think
I
Really?
actually
22.
picked 30.
I thought about
Really?
30
You want to be an
That's
too.
old
a good
man for the
one,
rest of your life?
too.
No, because you're not an old man. You can still take care of your body really well. Your brain is fully developed at that point. And
But people
I,
see you as a little bit wiser and more.
I feel like
yeah, I
30
feel
is a
like
good age.
I feel like you're right on
Yeah.
the cusp of, yeah, you probably like have max of all the pros. Like you probably got some money in your life now, a little success in
Mhm.
a career, hopefully. You probably can be at the peak of your health, like you can be really fit in your 30s. And then you haven't yet brought on dementia. So you're right there on the cusp.
Good.
I understand. 30
Yeah.
sounds like a good age to me.
That's funny. I
Yeah.
just feel like
Maybe I'll be able
30-year-olds
to
are
grow a
always
beard
in
at
like
that point.
midlife crises and like pits of despair. The hard
I've already
things
done
going
that, man.
on.
I'm good.
Wait, Nifa, you're
Yeah.
saying that's what 23 was, or that's what
Oh, that's what
you
30 sounds like to me. Plus, I
Well,
feel
you're
like
just
once
a
you hit
young
like
buck. You don't know what
27,
it's like,
your
man.
body just goes.
You just don't
Why
know what
did
it's like,
you
man.
why did you
True.
pick 23, Nifa?
I wrote young and beautiful, baby.
Yeah. Are you 24 now? 25.
I'm 25.
Okay.
Nifa's like,
I'm a
that's
menace to
23. Keep on
society.
getting further away.
Yeah.
Okay, so it says the age you chose represents when you were happiest. If you thought of a very young age, it means you missed childhood. If you thought of an older age, it means you likely long for maturity. Or I would probably revise that to say maybe you're longing for things you don't have in the future.
Yeah, you guys just aren't mature yet. I've already matured, so that's why I wish for
Oh,
youthfulness.
so true.
You've already peaked in life, Nephi. It's all down here
That's it.
from here.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And 30's still down further down that hill, so.
Wait, that's so funny. I'm rereading it. It doesn't say that you're not mature yet. It says it means you likely long for maturity. I'm like, who longs for maturity?
Yeah.
I think it's like it says the age you chose represents when you were happiest. So if it's the age you are, it means you're happy now. If it's the age you were, it means you thought you were happier then. And if it's the age you aren't yet, it means you think you'll be happier in the future.
Interesting.
It's so interesting.
Cool.
23 is when I started going to Hawaii. That was when it happened.
Hawaii brings
Oh
happiness.
man,
It does.
dang it! I need
It
a
was.
couple of sounds on the soundboard of like I don't know, like the Matrix, or like like Twilight Zone sounds right now or something. It all
It all
connects.
makes sense.
Love it. All right. Number 8. If you were told you had 24 hours to live, how would you spend that time?
For me, I specifically said I would not sleep.
That's good.
But I also said I would make a bunch of like letters and recordings for my family. So that way they could still have me when I was gone, and then just spend as much time as possible with them.
That's
Sweet.
sweet.
That is beautiful. Bravo.
I said I would take Joseph and Aslan to the mountains to a beautiful view and share happy memories and call both of my families and then go home and eat good food together.
You wouldn't go out to eat?
No, we would make food together.
Okay, okay.
That's a good memory, making food.
Mhm.
That
That's
sounds
precious.
so beautiful and perfect, my love. Let's do it.
Mhm.
Well, you don't want Brooklyn to pass
Right?
on.
Yeah, we don't have to pass
Oh
on.
yeah.
Let's do it.
I basically said what Brooklyn said. I said spend time with friends and family. It's basically the same thing. Just yeah. Not nearly as beautiful
Wow.
and poetic and detailed. That and then I also said, and if I have extra time, rob a bank.
Just for fun.
Just
Never
to
experienced
leave us
that
a good
before.
legacy to deal with all the
Just want to rub a
repressed
bank.
you're gone. Thank you.
Love
Yeah.
that.
See how much crime
Love
you
that.
can get away with.
Yeah. I said, see family, do things I always wanted to do, say things to people I always wanted to say, many thank you notes, some apologies, maybe some not so nice words. But
Ooh,
Beautiful.
pretty cool. So shout out insults. Insults
I didn't
and
actually write that one
love.
down, but since this is recorded, I better qualify that. But yeah.
Wait, did you guys see that? That's kind of reminds me of something. It's just a comedy sketch where the plane is starting to go down, and everyone's like calling their families, and then there's this one guy, and he's like, "Hey, dude, I hate you. You're the worst, man. I just wanted to tell you." And then he hangs up. And
Oh
then he's
my
like, "What are you doing? You should be nice." And then he's like, "No, I'm gonna tell people my mind." And then everyone starts like insulting people, and then they land the plane safely, and they just everyone's like super guilty. It's
Yeah,
great.
like,
It's a
oh
fun one.
man.
Oh,
It says
That's
that's
hilarious
funny.
though.
if you chose your family to spend time with, you're likely very sentimental. If you wanted to be alone, you're likely discontent with your life. If you threw a party, It means you likely feel at peace with the knowledge of your death.
Well, I think we're all pretty sentimental then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All
Can
right, and
I
then number
can I
9.
give my answer for the next one real fast? I gotta run and go
Yes.
bathroom real quick.
I actually need to go
Yeah.
to the bathroom too. Do you guys want to pause for a minute?
Well, let's finish out this one, and then we'll go
Okay,
use the bathroom,
Yeah.
and then let's come back. And I'm down to take another one if you guys are.
let's do it.
Sure. All right.
Okay, if your
Um.
home was on fire and you could save only one thing, what would you save?
My phone,
So
journals, but then actually out of habit, I probably would choose my backpack just because it's what I would do every morning.
mm,
Very nice.
solid. That's a very solid choice. I had two scenarios in my mind. One is assuming there's no people inside, and I picked journals slash with the journals. I'm including this Brooklyn, like all like notes or cards, whatever I've gotten. Brooklyn compiled them all for me and put them in a cool little binder for me. That super sweet. So I would grab my journals in that. And then, man, what was kind of wrecking my heart and making me go back and forth on is if Brooklyn and Aslan were in there. My initial first total thought was I would go and save Brooklyn. And then I thought more. I was like, well, like, I don't know. Is this something we would want to talk about in advance where we want to be like save the child kind of moment, you know? Because we obviously both absolutely love Aslan. I feel like my primary love and allegiance is to Brooklyn and Aslan is secondary, though I love her greatly, you know? But I don't know. I wanted to know your thoughts, my dear. Is it if we had to choose, would we want to say let the baby carry on, you know? If that makes sense?
Yeah. Oh boy, that is definitely
Unfiltered,
one that
right?
Mm.
calls for a lot of discussion, huh? I think that my inclination would be to think we should save Aslan because she can't save herself.
That is
I
definitely a thought I
try
had
to save
that we were
myself.
sorry, I cut you off.
Sorry, what?
I think it was I
I was
cut
just
you off.
saying
I think
I
you were a
could.
little choppy.
Oh, um, is that any better?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like, for me, in the moment, I think I'd just be less sentimental and more practical. Actually, that's probably totally a lie. There's no way that kind of a moment couldn't be sentimental. Uh, wow, that's intense.
I
I'd love to
I
hear
totally
if that's
see what you're
true.
talking about though, because I had that same thought. I was like, Aslan doesn't have someone to save her, right? Like we're the ones who have her charged to our care. However, in
Yeah,
this theoretical example, my understanding is neither of you can save yourselves. I have to pick. But still, I was like, I guess like if we didn't, basically my thought, if we hadn't talked about it, I think I would feel like I should save you, I think, because you're the one I hold my highest allegiance to, you know? But like if we were to talk it out, like if we're talking it right now, I'd be in favor of trying to save our kids and have them alive, you know? I think that ultimately we're each other's number one and number one priority, but raising our kids is like our unified number one goal, you know? I don't know. I just talked a lot. I will let someone else chip in. Forfa.
Well, I have a lot to say about taking my phone as my first thing. So I don't know what you guys are. No, I'm just kidding. That's why I didn't have a lot to say.
No, I was with you, Joe. I had two different scenarios through my head. One where my family got themselves out and I had to pick a thing, and one where I had to choose a family member. And for the thing that I thought that I would pick if it was just an object was we have this huge binder full of important documents like certificates of birth and like that sort of thing, graduation stuff, and other important things. So I'd
We
probably
put
take
all
that.
that in a we put all that in a fireproof safe, Tanner. So then it doesn't need to be taken. I'll send you an
Oh, I
Amazon
guess that's
link if you
true. I
want
didn't
one.
think about that. Ours is
Carrie,
fireproof
that's
as
so funny because
well.
just as you were saying that, I was like, dang it, that means it'll be way too heavy to carry out during a fire. Oh, wait.
Well, for the family one, I had a little bit different of an interpretation. I was thinking that all of us were still good and able to go. So I was thinking I would get Tommy and Kyla would get Ari, and then we'd all get out together because happy endings are always better.
So
That's
by all
right.
good and able to go, you're saying like you and Kyla, and then you each pick kids, and all your physical possessions go up in smoke.
Yep.
Now, what
Yeah.
if you both pick the same kid?
Sounds like you need
That'd be so
a
scary, dude.
fire drill plan.
What's your thought, Nephi?
Um,
I totally get what you did with the whole like journals and phone though too, Nephi. Like if I was picking like just physical, like just objects, right? I'd probably pick my phone. I think I would if it was like just physical objects, you know? That's like probably the most valuable thing I'd have, and I would totally want to save that. But I don't know
yeah.
what's your thoughts on the whole child versus wife thing?
I feel like practicality wise, thinking about post fire, I feel like if I were the one who, like, if my spouse had to choose, then I feel like on the inside, I'm like, save the kids, like help them have a good life. And afterwards, I'm also like, well, that also means then that they would have to go find a new spouse and everything else would be there too. And I feel like just in like the most practical of sense, not a very humane sense, but I feel like it's a lot harder to replace a spouse than it is to replace a child. And so I would say
Mm,
save the spouse.
that is very practical. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I
very
think that's super true. I think that there's
Tell us, why are we bad? Oh, wait, sorry.
oh, yeah, you take it away, Brooklyn. We've been on this point for a hot minute, and I feel
Oh,
good.
no, I mean,
If anyone else wants to say anything, go ahead, but I've talked too much on it.
mm, well, it is a big question to ponder for sure. So, yeah, that's a really interesting one, and I don't think a few minutes of conversation can do enough justice to the severity of that choice, for sure.
So what does it mean,
My
love?
item,
Are we monsters or heroes for what we pick?
well, it says if you chose a photo album, you're likely more sentimental. If you chose clothing, you're likely more cautious. If you chose something expensive, you're likely somewhat materialistic. If you grabbed your passport or computer, you're probably pretty practical.
Mm.
Cool.
I actually wrote my phone, wallet, and the book of love letters that we have. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
sentimental impulse.
You
I was like, I was thinking, I was like, they usually, I don't know, like when you talk about this question, you always get criticized for grabbing anything like practical because you're like, no, you don't have time, grab something you can't replace. It's sentimental. But like, I mean, if really the house was burning down, we definitely need a wallet and we definitely need a phone, you know,
You
especially if we don't
can
have nearby.
you, you can make new memories, you know? They are replaceable. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's yeah. Yeah, it's different. But cool.
Yeah.
What fun questions. Tea break?
Yay.
Good. Potty break. We'll also do a little
let's
advertisement with Smart Water.
Wow.
There we go. Yes.
let's get that ad
Woo!
revenue.
Love it.
All right. Let's
Okay,
see
get your
how much
notepads
more messed up
out.
we are.
Okay, here we go.
My
Imagine.
parents is really what it is.
Wait, so are we supposed to be, are we supposed to click the link and be on the site right now?
Oh, sorry. Okay, so I sent a link in the chat. We're not doing that test together, but if you want to do it on your own later, you can.
Oh, okay.
We're just going to do another imagery test that I dictate to you, and but the link in the chat is the ink blot test if you're interested in just seeing what it's like.
Cool.
So, okay,
I'll put
so
the
we're
link in the description
into
of the video.
yes,
JK, we
this
never do
one is
that, even though we
called
say we do.
this one is called the capsule. Okay, imagine that you are in front of a castle. Um, you are at the front door. How exactly do you imagine it?
Are we supposed to write this down or just say it?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. So write down. Yeah, we'll have you write it down so that we don't disrupt the like creative thinking process.
I think we're getting your keyboard pretty good there, Nephi, if you could mute typing.
we go.
Try that.
Bravo, bravo.
Alrighty.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Emojis when you're done.
yeah, sorry, my imagination kind of took me away there.
Hey, that's great.
How are you doing these like chain emojis, Nephi? I'm so jealous. So cool.
You click on the
Okay.
emojis. There's a button that says "Fun Animations Enabled or Disabled" right next to the search bar. There
Why
you
would
go.
you?
Oh, you need to have Nitro for that. Fancy.
Okay. All right. Back to the castle. You pass the door of the castle and you realize that there is no soul. It is a desert. What does that mean? There's no soul. Um, Hang on. Let me figure out what this is supposed to mean. I
That's
thought.
funny.
Let's see. Um, Based on some of the suggested answers, I think it's meaning you enter the castle, and what is the first thing that you see in the room? What do you see in the room?
So like right after the gates.
Um, yeah, and um, it could be a different room in the castle, it seems like. So maybe it's like, what are you most eager to see or something?
Okay.
Sorry, that question was written very poorly.
That's Suam. They messed up my diagnoses.
I know.
Is that Princess Fiona Tanner?
No, that was um
Uh,
what's his name?
uh,
Uh the guy from Titanic.
very
Oh,
nice.
Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's like pointing at the screen. It's a big meme.
Uh, very nice.
all right. Number 3. You look around and find a staircase. You decide to climb the stairs. What does the staircase look like?
Did you say spiral staircase?
Nope, I just said
Oh,
you find a staircase
Okay.
and then you describe
Tanner
what the
giving away answers again.
Sorry.
Blowing our
Sorry.
minds.
I'm just making things up in my head.
That's right. All right. Okay. After you climb the stairs, you reach a small room in which there's only one window. How big is it? The window. How big is the window?
I'm also ready. Sorry, I did an emoji if you're waiting for me.
I'm ready to. Sorry.
All right. No, all good. Okay, you look out the window. What do you see? You look out the window and what do you see?
Yeah, I'm just gonna start singing popcorn.
Ready.
Awesome. Good, good. Okay. All right, last question. You go down the stairs and you're back in the area where you were when you first entered the castle. You go ahead and find a door at the rear of the building. You open it and go out into the yard. What does it look like outside? What does the yard look like?
That's everyone.
All right. Okay, here we go. So I think this is more of a typical kind of test because the imagery kind of continues smoothly, allows you to like get lost in it a little bit. So, question one, we are describing the door to the castle. So I'm just gonna explain the interpretation and then we can talk about what we wrote and what it meant. It says the door represents your attitude to new experiences. If you imagined a simple everyday door, you're probably not afraid of any new challenge and will test your luck in new things and situations without a second thought. If you have chosen a hidden door, you probably do not know what you need to do in the future and your life in it, and it looks blurry and undefined. If you have a big, scary door, then you might be afraid of the unknown and find it difficult to get out of your comfort zone and try new experiences.
What about a big welcoming door?
Ooh,
That's
that
what
is
I
a
wrote
good
down.
Or
attitude to experience
or a huge drawbridge with a moat.
with a moat.
That's what I was going for.
How did you feel about the moat?
Hmm?
How did you feel about the moat?
I was just like, this is a castle. The sucker. Well, okay, so my quote writing was huge drawbridge with a moat and guards telling me to move along. I quickly realized that guards were not part of these questions, but I incorporated them from the beginning. So I have a theme throughout my whole answers that incorporate this now. So I'm excited to share.
Interesting. So, if your guards were blocking your way to your new experiences, then what does that tell you about your attitude to your new experiences?
That I probably needed to learn some kung fu to take down the guards.
Yes,
Fair enough.
some mental kung fu to take down your future, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, mine more descriptive was large. It was a large welcoming gates with a large white castle, with like large parapets and other defensive stuff. But it's been a long time since they've needed to defend it.
Very cool. So the castle, the door is open to you. I
And I
think
mean, I
that
was thinking
shows
of
that you're
myself as like the
excited.
king because I had like free reign to run around in the castle.
Well, there you go. You have all your like new experiences just, I don't know, feel natural to you or something.
Interesting.
Feel
What
like
about
you're
you,
in
Nephi?
control of that.
Yeah, I said it was just a big, massive castle made of stone, wooden door. Fine, but also medieval close Renaissance. So when I entered the castle, I saw a grand entrance.
Hmm.
So you didn't say a lot about the door. You said
Yeah,
it
I
was
guess in my
wooden.
mind I was just envisioning like some. There's a castle I went to in Segovia that I was
Wow.
imagining as like the entrance. Segovia Castle. Let's see if I can just pull it up. Imágenes. Okay, let me share my screen. Share screen. Yeah, the whole thing. Entire screen. Okay. Are y'all seeing these castle pictures?
It's super blurry.
Oh yeah,
Right.
right.
Oh, cool. That's like a very
There we
like
go. It's
classic looking
crisp now.
castle.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's looking
Yeah,
good now.
it was made after the castle that Disney was also inspired by. So, um,
I thought Neuschwanstein was that one, but no.
right, yeah, it's not this one.
I
This
believe
one
it
was
though.
also
There's
patterned
probably a
after
mix
that
of
one.
all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But well, okay, that wasn't good to go in. But essentially, here it's hard to see, but there is like a drawbridge. It's like you come up here, and it's just a
Mm,
big wide chasm that you go across, and you come up to this door. But the door is still like a big door. So, yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
that's cool.
Very cool.
cool. Very, very nice. Mine were big bronze double doors, um, with some like vines and flowers on them, and then like giant ring knobs that you could pull up, and
Cool.
yeah. Okay, let's jump to the next one. The second question is basically inside the castle that you're excited to see. I apologize here for you guys. So, if we mess up your psychology here, then apologies. So, the space in the castle is the idea that you believe other people have of you. For
I
example, if
love
you
my
saw,
answer. Oh,
ooh,
you finish.
if it says if you saw a library, you probably think that you are the person who supports others and helps them find answers to their problems. A large fireplace would give a feeling, would be that you give the feeling of warmth and passion to other people. Or a fancy ballroom would suggest you feel like you can dazzle the people around you and you have a lot to give. If you end up with a long corridor with closed doors, you feel like you are difficult to understand and other people have to try to penetrate more into you. All right, Joseph, what was your room like in the castle?
A huge assembly hall with vaulted ceilings, tapestries with embroidered dragons, and a butt ton of mad guards because I waltzed into their castle.
Well, that is awfully descriptive and wonderful for this. I love it. So you are like very vivacious and like bold and exciting, and sometimes that offends people.
I guess.
Sometimes people love it.
That's a great one. Now, let's see Nephi's castle.
This one was kind of bland. I just wrote, I see a grand entrance, comma. And then I was like, I'm not sure how to describe it.
Impressive.
You were like,
Well,
what's private?
And I just wasn't sure how to describe it.
Oh, so you don't know what other people think of you
Mm.
or what you do for other people.
Because like I can picture it in my mind, it's like big and spacious and empty and cold and dank and damp and hated, but I really
dang.
liked it. I'm just kidding. I filled that in after learning the reasoning behind.
Oh.
But it was just like this
Okay.
big grand room with vaulted ceilings.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
literally all I wrote there was
We
a
miss your
grand
face,
entrance.
Nephi.
I'm getting Aspen up for him. He's sweetheart.
It's okay. Hello, cutie.
Butter. He has to pick your diaper.
Oh, fun.
Mm.
Oh, I would
Let's
not
just
have
blow
imagined
through the
that
rest of the
walking into the
questions
castle.
really fast.
Okay, we'll go through them quick. All right, so the third question, you're describing the staircase. The staircase shows the image you have of life. A sharp and massive staircase would show a person who sees life as suffering with many difficulties, or a beautiful spiral staircase would show how romantic a person
Oh, well, I guess we know what I am.
is. Well, you know you have a spiral staircase. Love it. So Tanner's is a spiral. Joseph.
In my defense, I wrote this. I wrote these first four words before Tanner made his announcement. A stone spiral staircase with a rich red carpet, with one or two bloodstains on it, both from the guards I punched to climb the stairs.
Nice.
Wow, life is a
Love it.
little
Romanticizing
hardcore.
violence. Love it.
Romanticizing violence.
This guard theme is being carried on throughout the whole thing. No one said the castle wasn't inhabited. I just assumed it was in the
It's true.
beginning, and I'm invading their home.
You know what's funny, Joseph, is I totally pictured like everything like void of people up until you get to the what's out the window part.
Interesting.
Oh, that's fascinating.
I didn't see any people at all.
But climbing staircase, I said, this one I was a little more grandiose than the entering castle. I said, like a grand staircase that winds gradually up the back wall from the center into two splitter ways, a spiral on both sides, that is wide and grand.
Wow.
And then I was thinking of another castle, but yeah.
Oh, so life is grand and wide and full of opportunities, and it's exciting. Okay, fourth question. We went upstairs into a small room and there was a window. What is the size of the window? It says the window is the way you feel right now. A small window means that you feel depressed and trapped in your life. It means
How did
it
it
may
know me
feel
so
like there's
well?
no way out of what you're experiencing right now. If it is a normal window. You have realistic demands and expectations of life. You realize there are limitations, but the future is here and it looks clear for you. If the window is gigantic, you feel invincible, free, and able to achieve whatever you want.
Interesting. I did a small medium window because it would be best for archers to shoot enemies out of the window. But that was it.
Tanner,
Okay.
the window is about 4 inches wide enough for me to shoot an arrow out, and too small for me to crawl out and escape the pursuing guards.
Oh
See?
my
It's
god.
practical. We're thinking
Wow, you guys are
practical, man.
good. You guys are good. Yeah, I
Practical
also said
and
window is
bootstrap.
smaller, but not like
I
that
just,
small. Still large for a castle that time.
Mm-hmm.
in my
Yeah.
memory, I feel like I've read a book or two that said that that's like was the purpose of the windows. Like they were a small little slit for like small exposure outside, but then like the wall. How do I describe this? Like here's the window, and then the wall like was kind of cut wider, so like you could aim your bow and you can lean this way, and look out the window, but there's only a small little slit to be shot in. That's uh
Yeah.
that's
Those are
the
called arrow slits.
well, look at that.
Yeah,
Not
that's
even a
right.
window.
Or ballistaria.
Very cool. That's a much better name.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then the fifth question is, what is the view from the window? The view from the window is the overview of your whole life. A stormy sea would show a hectic and erratic life, while a snowy forest is associated with a person who lives isolated and detached from the crowds. A green valley shows your life is calm and steady without stress and anxiety. A vibrant city would show someone who lives a fully social life with lots of people.
Interesting. I was
So
I
what
kind
said a
of going
massive
along.
courtyard with a dragon coming up, so the defenses are being prepared.
Oh, dang, dude.
whoa.
So you're
Rolling
preparing for a big life change.
Yeah,
rolling
really.
hills. Rolling hills of beautiful farmland and villages, and a dragon with death in its eyes headed straight for the castle.
Yes.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh, you
so life
guys.
is calm and steady if you could just get out of the castle, it sounds like.
I feel like no wonder why I am like such good friends and soul bonded to both of you because I feel like my answers are like copy and paste each of yours, just taking turns.
I mean,
Love
mine
it.
was pretty chill. Mine was just large fields with farmland and pastures.
I said that too.
I know, but I don't know. I was thinking practically because like every castle needs to have like tons and tons of acres to support its people.
That's
So
why. Okay, and then question 6, the courtyard of the castle. Um, this one says, the image of the courtyard is the image that you have in mind of your future. So if your garden is neat and shiny, then you feel like your future will be heavenly. Um, on the other, if you have a neglected garden, you are maybe worried that you won't have the energy to take control of your life and make your future better. If you have a damaged garden, you're pessimistic and you don't have a good view of the future.
hmm.
What if I
I
have
guess
no
I didn't
garden?
hear the garden part because I
So it
put
doesn't have
like
to
the
be a garden.
courtyard. I said there are many people and merchants. It's really busy but peaceful.
I think that means that you will have like you see your future being full of people and interaction and vibrant and lively.
Business.
Business.
Yeah, business.
Woo.
The backyard has a beautiful maze, easily stretching 9 feet tall, where rumor has it a wizard once died from touching a cup. Bum bum bum.
From touching a cup?
Wow, I don't know what to
That's
do with
crazy,
that.
dude. That's like a movie.
Yeah, no, that's funny though, the maze thing. Because I think that is super accurate life-wise. Holy cow. The future is a maze, but I'm a big believer in cutting through mazes, so that should help.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
I said
What did you put,
beautiful
Nephi?
like Tower of London with ups and downs, homes and shops, and armory and places of interest, people in the distance prepping for that dragon, but also open space near me.
Cool.
Mine was like a gorgeous, perfectly organized garden with lots of flowers, and anyway, it's a beautiful garden. Okay.
Very
Back
cool.
to the
Well,
stage now.
this is fun. I kind of like doing these questions.
They're fun, aren't they? There are
It
more
was
online if you guys
awesome.
want to look for more, and they show the interpretations too. I can also send some links in the chat, probably the U squared chat, of a couple more if you want to look at them and do them.
Cool. Yeah,
Thank
I
you
might do
guys
this with my
so
This
wife
much.
because
is
I think she would like it.
I think you would
Thank you,
too.
Brooklyn.
Thank you guys for doing it with us today, and I had a lot of fun with you.
it's so fun. Thank you, my dear. I also think there's a solid chance you set a new record for longest episode. And Ammon
Oh
literally
dear.
set a new record last week for longest episode.
I
So
don't
Well,
these
know.
are
We've
hopefully
only
it
been
was.
going for an hour and 36 minutes.
Hopefully
oh
it was
I
a
think
really?
less
his was like 2.
painful long episode because I only lectured for 30 minutes and then we just played.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was that
It was
long.
great. Yeah, I loved it.
Great
Good.
one.
It was
Loved it,
awesome.
Brooklyn.
You guys believe that she did this literally in like 50 minutes? That wow. Holy cow. That is
Beautiful. Impressive.
Impressive indeed.
Yeah.
It was
Well
very fun.
done.
well, thank you all so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Uncensored and Unqualified. Yeah, unfiltered.
Unfiltered.
Uncensored, where'd
We
that come
censor some
from?
things.
Someday people will know what it's called.
Yeah. Unfiltered and unqualified. You're right. Yeah, someday I will know what it's called. Yeah, it's
I'll put
been
it on a
such a
t-shirt and
party.
then we'll know for sure.
Someday when he's
Yeah,
destroyed the dragon that's in front of his castle.
Hmm.
that sounds great. It has been such a party. Truly just food for the soul. And we look forward to next time. I'm off to bed, y'all.
All right.
Bye.
We'll see ya.
Woohoo!
Bye.
Thank you.